Hey everyone, I'm Flo. Thanks for tuning in. I'm a yoga instructor and purple belt in Jiu Jitsu, and today I want to share with you my personal stretching routine I do every single time after training that really helped me to stay injury free, mobile, flexible, and really helped me to progress in my Jiu Jitsu journey. Let's begin. Alright, for this class, all you need is your belt. You can stay on your mat after training, use your carpet at home, whatever it is. All you need is your belt. And usually what happens after training, we get done rolling in the end of class, and then class finishes, everyone's exhausted and tired, and most people lay on their back on the ground. Belt is already off, so we're gonna take the belt off here if it's not already. Start with the belt first, on your back. I'm gonna take my gi top off as well, what most people do. Alright, so you're gonna come onto your back, and then take that belt, put the middle of the belt around your foot, and then grab both ends of the belt here. And I like to grab one hand and then the other on top, around the belt or around the hand, and then bring both of my hands behind my head. Try to keep that right leg straight, and then extend the left leg forward. So what we're targeting here is the hamstring of the right leg, the back side of your right thigh. And you can adjust the length here with your hand on the belt. If you're really tight on your hamstring, maybe you want to have it like this, towards the end of the belt. If you're pretty open, you can go even closer to your foot. Make sure the left leg is lifted so that the left heel is off the ground, so you're still having some gravity pulling down. And we're going to stay here and just hang out. It's a very chill stretching routine. You already put in all the hard work in your training, so this class, this video is really targeting the stretching routine after you're done with your training. Either stay here or start to bounce with the left leg up and down. Just increases the stretch a little bit in the right hamstring. And then grab the belt with your left hand. Again, if you're pretty open, go closer to the foot, otherwise a little bit further away. And then bring the right hand out to the side and bring the right leg all the way over to the left. So it doesn't matter if the right shoulder is on the ground or not, or if the left and the right foot is touching the ground or not. What we're looking for here is a twist in the spine, maybe a stretch here in the lower back. And if you pull on that right foot on your belt a little bit more, maybe you'll feel a stretch here in your piriformis and in the right hamstring. And then back to center. Let's switch sides. So left foot goes into the belt. Grab the belt. Extend the right leg forward. And again, find that length here on your belt with your grip that works for you, for your flexibility on the hamstring. And either stay here, breathe, maybe close your eyes, or start to bounce a little bit with the right leg up and down. So usually I get asked a lot about stretches that I can do or people can do after class. And what I noticed that everyone says, oh yeah, I should do more stretches, I should do more yoga, I think it will really help. And I agree, I think it really helps, especially in Jiu Jitsu. I will talk more about that later. But what I noticed is that people after class a lot, they just hang out, they lay on the ground and they talk. And that's fine, that's great for the community. But you can also use the time on your back stretching and then still talk to people. So that's what I usually do. I do my stretches, I talk to people after class, after training, so you can get both things in at the same time. And then right hand goes to the belt, bring the leg all the way over, extend your left arm away from you, and relax. Just feel that twist. This is really not the time to go deep or to look for depth or no pain, no gain mentality or anything. This is really to feel good. This should feel good in your body, a good stretch. You should feel a strong stretching sensation, but no sharp pain or anything. Again, here we're targeting the lower back, the hamstring. Maybe you want to increase the distance here if this is too much. If you're really open, you can also grab the foot. You don't even need the belt. And if it feels comfortable for you, you can look over your left shoulder or just keep the head wherever, it doesn't matter. All right, perfect. And slowly release. Put the belt to the side. You need it later again. Now we're coming into happy baby. So you're going to grab the outer edges of both feet. And then try to keep the lower back and your shoulders on the ground as you move your knees into your armpits. So in this one, we're targeting the inner thighs, the groin area. Really helpful to be nice and open here and loose for example, De La Hiva guard or reverse De La Hiva. Really helps with that. So I put this sequence together, or I've thought of it a lot. I've been doing it for probably 1 year now, every time after training. And I was really thinking of what we work on in Jiu Jitsu a lot and what do we need to do afterwards to help that and also to counter that, to balance things out. So in here, you can do a couple options. You can straighten one leg. Maybe that's already enough. Maybe straighten it all the way. So this is kind of like a lasso guard or spider. And then the other leg. You can also just stay in happy baby, what we did before. Maybe straighten both. And then either stay in wherever you are or bring both legs over your head. So I think this is obvious. This will help with your berimbolo a lot. Make sure you have a gap here between the chin and the chest. You don't want to bring the chin all the way to the chest. You want to keep a gap there. That stretch should mostly come in from the back and not in your neck. Maybe bring your legs together, the feet together, and again keep a gap here between the chin and the chest. And I think this is a really important one to do, especially for those guys of you that do lots of bottom game and play berimbolo a lot, because if you roll against someone that's maybe bigger and heavier than you, and they're stacking you like this, so the berimbolo, maybe doesn't work. You go upside down, it doesn't work, and then they stack you like this, and they put pressure on you. It's good to do this stretch and exercise to keep opening up the back and the hamstrings, so that even though they put pressure on you, you're not in a dangerous spot here, because your body is mobile and open enough to stay here, and you can actually relax here quite well the more you do this. Maybe the knees to the ears, that's really the most intense one here. But I mean, this is a very common position in Jiu Jitsu if you do bottom game. So you want to stay nice and open in this one. And slowly release. From here, you're going to bring the right ankle right above the left thigh. And then lift your left foot up off the ground. Reach through that hole here with your right hand and grab the left shin or the left hamstring. This is the more gentle version, I would say. This is a little bit deeper. I'm going for this one. and then release your head back down to the ground and pull your knee. Just pull everything closer to your chest. Make sure here both feet are flexed, the left foot and the right foot. There should not be any sensation here in the right knee. Again, as always, no sharp pain, no painful sensation. Think of it as when you're getting a massage. It is painful, but it feels good. It's kind of a good pain. So we're looking for that, like a good stretch, strong sensation, but nothing painful. Can also move around here. So in this one, we're targeting the piriformis, the outer hip. And I mean, this is important for 50-50 guard if you're in it, to stretch the right leg. If, again, people come up and stack you, you want to have the hip nice and open. Mostly to prevent injuries, so because in Jiu Jitsu it's not as controlled as yoga, there's another person involved. And so you want to stay safe. You can't predict their movements all the time. Perfect. Other side, right foot down, left ankle right above the right knee on the thigh. Reach through, either grab the hamstring or grab your shin, flex both feet, and then pull everything towards you. And send that breath into the sensation in your body. Or if you're in class, keep talking to your buddies. It's perfectly fine too. And this is also the full stretching routine that I usually do. Now I talk more about it, so I stay longer in the poses. I usually don't do them that long, depends how much time I have, or if I'm the last person leaving already, everyone's waiting for me to finish my stretches. Usually happens, always the last one that leaves the gym. So you feel free to stay longer or shorter in any of those positions. If you move the hips around, just explore how this feels. And then slowly release. Hug your knees into the chest. Rock side to side. And from here we're going to rock forward. Come to seated. So now in this one, we're going to bring both feet together. We're working on the inner thighs again, groin area. And then try to keep the neck nice and long and the back nice and long, and walk the hands forward. Maybe it looks like this for you and you feel a stretch already here in the inner thighs, in your lower back. That's perfectly fine. It doesn't matter how it looks or how deep you can go into this. You have to make this work for your body, and we are all at different parts of the journey. We all have different bodies, so don't worry about it. Just give your best here and make it feel good. You can also grab the feet and pull yourself closer, forward and down. And instead of rounding the back down, really work on or focus on moving the chest forward. So you keep the length in the spine and open up a little bit more in the lower back and in your hips. And slowly release. Now we're bringing the left heel close to the right butt cheek, and then the right ankle right above the left knee or to the inside of the left thigh. So this is a simpler variation of double pigeon in yoga. Keep the left heel close to the hip or to the butt. That's like the entry version. And then if you want more, you can move that foot further forward. Okay, but this is even too much for me. Also doesn't feel good on the knees for me, at least. So you gotta do the variation that feels good for you. I take this one and then either stay here upright, lean forward. That might be already enough for you. Perfectly fine. Or you walk the hands even more forward. And you want to keep this right foot flexed the entire time to protect the right knee. The knee is a very sensible joint, especially in Jiu Jitsu. One of the first joints where you feel any injuries or pain or so. So it's important to do this routine, do stretches, be careful with the knee in whatever you do. can also move the upper body here around, left and right, or bounce a little bit forward and down. Again, no sharp pain, should be a good stretching sensation. That's what we're looking for. And slowly release. Slide the right foot all the way down to the ground. And then we're going to bring the right hand behind us. The left arm reaches up. Take a deep breath in, lengthen out through your spine. And then exhale, rotate to your right side for a seated twist. So you can hook whatever feels good for you here, the forearm, or grab the knee, rotate to your right, or use the triceps if you want a deeper stretch here. Keep the spine nice and long. Maybe the left hip lifts up off the ground. That's perfectly fine too. You don't have to force it on the ground. That's by lifting it up, giving it some more movement, it's a little bit better on the sacrum, the lower part of your back, of your spine. Slowly release. Little counter stretch to the other side. Bring the forearms down to the ground. Or the hands, and just bend the arms a little bit. And then come back to the center. And release. Other side, bring the right heel close to your hip, and then the left ankle right above the right knee or the right thigh. Make sure you sit down onto both butt cheeks in this one, and then lean forward to whatever degree feels good for you, maybe all the way. Move the hips or move the upper body left and right. Maybe bounce a little bit forward and down. And so in this one we're targeting the left outer hip, the piriformis on the left side. And slowly release. Slide the left foot down to the ground. Again, seated twist, sit up nice and tall, left hand behind you. Inhale, reach your right arm up to the sky. On your exhale, rotate to your left. Hook the forearm, the triceps, grab the knee, whatever it is. Rotate to your left. Maybe look over your left shoulder. Sit nice and tall. And again, maybe the right hip lifts up. That's totally fine. Send that breath into the sensations in your body. Wherever you feel it in your body, send the breath there. Bring some more awareness to that part. Beautiful. Slowly release. Extend the legs forward. Shake it out. And then bring your feet wide apart for a seated straddle position. Sit up nice and tall. Flex your feet so that the toes are pointing towards you. Nice and long spine, and then walk the hands forward. So maybe this looks like this for you, and you already feel a stretch in your lower back or in your inner thighs. Perfectly fine. Stay there. Keep breathing, or walk the hands forward. So until now we have been doing we have done a lot of forward folds for the spine, which is very natural in Jiu Jitsu. We're always like rounded in our back like this. So now we're stretching all these parts, and then later we will do the opposite, counter stretches. So we will work more on back bends, which I think is very important if you practice a lot of Jiu Jitsu, so you don't get this rounded back and a rounded spine. It's important to arch your back a lot too. Work on back bends, which is not a very common move or position we are in Jiu-Jitsu. So it's important to do that before or after, just to counter that. And then keep the chest low, walk your hands over to the right side. Bring the right hand inside your right leg and reach your left arm over your head. Find that length here on the left side body from the left hip all the way into your left fingertips. Maybe even grab the left foot and rotate your chest to your left. Really nice side stretch here in a seated position. And again, when you do this on your own, you don't have to stay long in this. You can just do a couple breaths and that's perfectly fine. Slowly release. Keep the chest low as you move over to the other side. Left hand goes inside the left foot. Right arm up and over your head. So maybe that's already a very deep stretch for you, then stay there. If you want a little bit more, work your right hand closer to your left foot. Maybe grab it, maybe use a belt between the hand and the foot. And rotate your chest to the right. Slowly release, keep the chest low, walk back to center, and slowly come back up. Use your hands to help your knees bend. Bring them together, hands to the sides. And so we did lots of external rotation of the thighs here, so we're rotating inwards now. Just a couple times. Again, make sure this feels good on the knees. All right. Now we're going to cross the ankles, roll over the knees for a tabletop position. So come onto all fours, shoulders are right above the wrists, hips above the knees. Untuck your toes. A few rounds of cat-cow. So inhale, arch your back, look forward. Exhale, round your back, look towards your belly button, push the ground away. Inhale, arch your back, look forward. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round your back just to warm up the spine in the opposite direction because now we're working more on back bends. Come onto your toes. Move the hips back to the heels. Stretch out the feet a little bit. We're also so much on the feet. So you want to take care of them. Either stay here still, push into your palms, or start to bounce. What I just did already, because that just feels really good for me. But that might not be something for you. So you decide what feels good for you here. A little bit for the wrists here as well. So move forward, as far forward as you can. Keep the arms straight. And then move back, hips to the heels. One more time forward. And back. One more time forward. I'll make circles around the wrist, just one round, whatever direction, switch directions. And now more important for us in Jiu Jitsu is the opposite way. So we're going to put the fingers pointing towards the knees. Try to stay on your toes and then move back with your hips towards your heels. So this really helps in general to prevent injuries, soreness in the wrists, but also helps with wrist locks. So if you get caught in them, you just know your own range of motion in your wrist a little bit better. And so first stay injury free, and also maybe you don't tap that soon because it doesn't get that tight. But usually if you're in a wrist lock, it's over already. Maybe move forward and back a little bit. Perfect. Sit back onto the heels. Try to stay on the toes. Shake out the wrists. Now we're going to use our belt before we move to the back bends. We're working on extension of the external rotation of the arms. So you're going to grab your belt. Find that width that works for you, and move the arms over your head and try to move them back down behind your back. Keep pulling on the belt the entire time, and then back forward. Try to sit nice and tall. What usually happens is that we tend to arch our back a lot when we come back. Try to avoid that by engaging the core. Sit straight, look straight ahead. Let's do 3 more. So it gets more difficult, or you require more flexibility if you come closer with your hands. So if this is too much, then just go really wide with your arms. Let's do 2 more. Okay, last one. Perfect. Now belt to the side. Now we don't need it anymore. Let's come onto the belly. Into things pose. So the wrists, the shoulders are right above the elbows. And make sure that the arms are parallel to each other as well. Untuck your toes. Engage your glutes. Move the chest forward. Pull the shoulders back, and look straight ahead. Keep breathing here. So now we're arching the back here, arching the spine, which is not something we do a lot in our Jiu Jitsu practice. Usually we are like rounded, half guard, and de la Hiva and all the positions. There's usually a rounding in the back. So you want to really find that openness here in the other direction, in the spine, in the chest. Either stay here, keep breathing, keep the glutes engaged, or if you want a little bit more, place your palms and straighten your arms. That series, this video will help a little bit, but I will also do more videos on back pain from Jiu Jitsu, what to do about it, and a warm-up routine for your Jiu Jitsu practice before training. And then also one more video where I explain a class that will help with movements for your Jiu Jitsu practice, especially balancing on your feet, ability, strength, so that really will help your Jiu Jitsu. Let's do a few more breaths here. Externally rotate the arms, push the ground away. Again, engage your glutes, flex your butt. And slowly release. Now we're doing one more, upward dog. Place your hands underneath your shoulders. Keep the tops of the feet on the ground. Flex your butt as much as you can, and then straighten your arms to push the ground away. The only thing touching the ground here is the tops of the feet and your hands. You want to pull the shoulders back, move the chest forward, and look straight ahead. Don't do anything like this. Doesn't do anything for the muscles in your neck. They're not being stretched. Pull the head back like this a little bit more. And again, flex your butt. If this is too much for you, then come back onto your forearms, do that variation if this is too deep of a back bend for you. So we started on our back, and now we're slowly working our way up towards standing. After class, everyone's waiting for us already to finish the stretching routine. And then slowly release. Move the hips up and back. Sit down onto your knees. Sit up nice and tall for a few moments. Always after back bends, you don't want to go immediately into a forward fold. It's better to just stay seated, nice and tall. And the next exercise is on the feet anyways, which will be one of the last ones. So in this one, stay on the shins here, on the knees, on tops of your feet. Sit on your heels. And what I hear a lot is from people that they're not mobile or flexible in the ankles. So that one is not good if you get caught in ankle locks, of course, because you tap right away, or toe holds also, which is fine. But we want to work on keeping them open. And the second thing is that you roll around your foot a lot in Jiu Jitsu. You do lots of this stuff or come onto the toes. So you want to stay pretty mobile in the ankles. Really helps, again, one, to prevent injury and just to move better. So one thing I found is really good for my ankles, which I also do every day, and also after training Jiu Jitsu, of course. Stay here in this position. This one is called Hero's Pose in yoga. Come onto your fingertips and then lift your knees up. So maybe this is already really intense for you, for your ankles. It's a really good stretch for the ankles and for the tops of the feet. But maybe you want to go a little bit higher. And you just stay there. It's kind of like find that balance. So by leaning back, you can maybe even stay here. So you're not leaning too far into your hands. You want to find that balance here. And either stay here, or what I like to do is to bring my knees up and down, just to bounce a little bit. So we do this not to go necessarily deeper in the stretch or deeper in the ankles, but more to stretch that fascia of the here in the shins, the tops of the feet, to stretch everything a little bit more, just gently. And so what happens, the fascia reorganizes itself, and it's it just gives you a little bit more mobility and flexibility here. Let's do a few more. All right, perfect. Now we're going into our yogi squat, which is this one here. It's called malasana. And then step one foot back, the left for now. Bring the left hand down to the ground. Move both hands to lower the hips down, just to open up in the hips a little bit here. We already did some hip openers for the outer hip and the inner hip. So we're not staying here for too long. Maybe make some circles, move around. You can come onto your forearms if you want and do the same thing, but maybe that's already enough on the hands for you. And we're all together coming back onto the hands. Left hand down to the ground, left knee down to the ground. Bend your left leg and reach with your right hand towards your left foot. First, you want to extend the leg into your right hand, so you feel a pull in your right shoulder by extending the left leg backwards. You want to look over your right shoulder if possible, flex the left foot, and rotate your chest to the right. And now, so we're contracting the left thigh muscle. And then now we're stretching it by relaxing it, and then pull the left foot closer to your hip. This time point your left foot. You can also use a belt here if this is too much for you. Put a belt around your foot. That's an option too. Something like this. Always use your belt as a tool. And so what's going on here is we are stretching the thighs, the left thigh. We are in a back bend and in a twist. And keep pushing the ground away with the left hand, so we are protecting the shoulder and not dumping into the left shoulder socket. Slowly release. Step the left foot forward, back to yogi squat, malasana. We're almost standing. Last one here, step the right foot back, both hands to the ground. Lower the hips down, move them around. If this is too much, you can also bring the right knee down to the ground as well. Or if you want more, come onto your forearms. Move around or just stay there and breathe. This is really all about your body and feeling good. Then come onto your right hand, bring the right knee down to the ground, bend your right leg. Use your left hand, reach back towards the right foot. Maybe use a belt there. Flex the right foot and extend the right leg into your left palm. Flex your left butt cheek. And so you really feel the pull on your left shoulder. So we're contracting the right thigh muscle. And now relax it and slowly point your right foot and pull the foot towards your hips. We're stretching the right thigh, finding a back bend and a twist by looking over the left shoulder, rotating the upper body to the left. Slowly release. Step the right foot forward. Move around a little bit here. And you're ready to stand up. Alright, now come back to seated. Sit up nice and tall. Before we continue with our day, let's just sit, take a couple deep breaths. Sit up nice and tall, relax your shoulders down and away from the ears. And just notice how the body feels a little bit different than before. Let's take one more deep breath in through the nose. Open mouth, exhale. One more in through the nose. Open mouth, let it go. Last one, inhale. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope this was helpful for you. I hope you feel good now. Stay safe, train hard, take care of the body. Let me know in the comments below if you want more videos like this. And make sure to subscribe and like this video. And I see you on the mat soon.